Hi everyone, this is Koji from Celestial Rhythms. Just want to make sure it's recording. Yes, it does. Okay, so yeah, I'm sorry. My last YouTube, seemingly the sound was not working. I only realized that afterwards. It's quite disappointing. So anyway, so I am trying to redo some of what I did in my last video, and I will add definitely a few new things here. It's exciting times. I guess I'm not overstating. Everybody knows that. Unusual, unprecedented, and we're right at the core of this transition, of this big transformation which is happening as we speak. So let's start off with a little update on the Mayan calendar, where we're at right now. So today, as I'm recording this now, we're on the 26th of April, and this is number 3 day of this present wave of Chuen, of the power of illusion, play, magic. That's the main theme of these 13 days we're in. Many things shifting, and many smoke screens and different realities interfering with each other. It's really kind of, one can get lost in the multitude of expressions which are happening as we speak. It's like a juggler. So I will go back a little bit in time to the 23rd as we keep going, because this was a very critical, very powerful day which set lots of new parameters, started new processes, and I will show you why. So we're in this central core column, which is said to be the area where everything is centered in the now, where past and future are remodeled from this moment, where there's such a power in this central axis which can change everything. So you might feel it, the intensity which is on. And this still is going on into the 3rd of May, and then we're continuing here, and then as we're getting into May, so this would be May 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. From May 9 on, we're again in what's called the portal days, which are an overlay of a higher frequency, galactic frequency, which intensifies and hyphens the challenges but also the opportunities. We had a similar stretch here. It's that core period of transformation we're in, which started actually on the 29th of March. Interestingly enough, that was the day when the ship in the Suez Canal, Ever Given, was back afloat. A very interesting marker in time. That was the day Wan Chik Chan. That was this day, right? Which started what's called the Blue Western Castle, the central 52 days of the Mayan calendar, wave 9 to 12, which will last into this day here, which will be May 19. Okay, so just going to quickly show, this is a great site, starroot.com, where you can calculate any day into what its expression is in the Mayan calendar. Here, this is the little input panel. I have lots of information on the Mayan calendar on my old website, and that's where I have this graph here. See, when we make this smaller. That's the Cosmos Within.org. Haven't updated that site for years. I can't get into it anymore with my new software. Anyway, that's this. Now let's get into the astrology. So let's start right here. April 23rd, as I said, that was a critical, powerful day of reset, and I guess we all feel it. The tide has turned. There is a new energy in the house, and it certainly expresses on many levels, one of them being the active recount right now going on in Maricopa County. So on this day, the 23rd, Jupiter, for the first time this year, and there will be two more, moments. Okay, let's see if, yeah, I think this volume is back on. Hopefully that's not too much of a glitch. Sorry about that. I'm really a little bit worried this time to get a good recording here, and so let me just move this again out of the picture here, and okay, it's an older laptop. I guess a new one would be a good idea at some point. Anyway, here we are. Okay, Jupiter was conjunct the American nation's moon. Now, let me just quickly blend in this chart here. That's the July 4, 1776 chart. Dane Rudhyar, in my opinion, the greatest astrologer of the 20th century. He was the one who was rectifying this chart, coming up with this time of day, 5:14 p.m. for Philadelphia, when the final signature was put under this highly important document, the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, really, which is the beginning, the first big milestone which was reached, the birth of a new nation. But much more than that, it's really the birth of a new concept of living together in a country, in a collective. All these wonderful principles were set in stone, and in that sense, as Juan José Avin said it very nicely, America is much more than a country. It's a great idea, and meanwhile all over the globe many people are rooting for a breakthrough to happen in this great country, which will lead the way into the new era, the great future which is ahead, which is already here in many ways. We just have to work a little more, put a little more effort to make it fully visible and tangible. And we are very close to that. Just a few weeks or months, and then things are absolutely clear to everyone else. So we are in this process, and as I say, this is the American nation's chart in that sense. 2712, the moon representing the people, representing the mood, the emotions. Very interesting in itself, the sign Aquarius here for the moon, which gives that, shows that free spirit on that level too, with the Sag rising naturally. We're here close to the great attractor, which is a powerful energy pulling us, all galaxies in our local neighborhood, to that same location. It's kind of a an enormous force which manifests in astrology as a powerful amplifier, Sagittarius energy, always aiming for the higher, for the greater, for the more universal in that sense. And I guess that's in a nutshell what the American spirit stands for. There's no limit to evolution. Everything is open-ended, and there's a great outlook that Jupiter energy multiplied, and naturally when Jupiter, being the ruler of this chart, as we look at it from a traditional angle, the planet which rules the rising sign is called the ruler of the chart. So Jupiter by transit connecting with the moon, that was predictable to going to be a breakthrough, and I guess that's what we really just saw in these last few days. Now Jupiter by transit will go into Pisces for a couple degrees, then start turning retrograde as the Sun here comes around, and then from Earth's point of view for 4 or 5 months Jupiter will move backwards back into Aquarius, having its second conjunction with this degree in August 19, and then again turning direct sometime later in fall and having its final contact by December 13, I guess. So overall, the American nation's moon is activated in a very positive, expansive way, optimistic. One can kind of see already how things will open up. It's a process though, it's organic, it happens in many little steps, and by the end of the year, by December or already in August, I mean, these charts I showed them, you can look into my earlier YouTube, which I made particularly on that. It's just really powerful how this Jupiter is placed in these return charts. This one is more of a initiation, a beginning, and that's very clear here with this Aries rising. This section of the zodiac is ruled by hexagram 21, which is biting through obstacles. It's that agitated process of cutting through deception, illusion. Those of you who are new to this concept, it's based on the teachings of the human design system. I have this here on my website too. This is the overlay, the 64 hexagrams, and I give you all the exact breakdown of degrees. That's again on the cosmoswithin.org. Just go to the tab I Ching Zodiac and you will find this. Now if we blow this up a little bit here, you see this is hexagram 21. Those of you familiar with the I Ching will know, or otherwise you can look it up. 21, biting through obstacles. Furthermore, this moment when Jupiter was exactly on the American nation's moon, there was a couple or a few really powerful placements. Naturally, Chiron here close to the ascendant, that in itself is powerful. Chiron, the wounded healer, just moved on into crossed the 10th degree, which means it's now in the Leo dwad of Aries, making this journey really into a heroic path of liberation, which each of us experiences in his, her own personal way. We are the heroes in this story. We are the ones we have been waiting for, as the saying goes. We are the ones who will make this happen, and this shows on many, many other levels too, but definitely this Uranus Chiron, actually in sync of Uranus, changed the over into the 11th degree pretty much simultaneously a few days ago. I guess it was the 17th. This already was a powerful activation. Then the Sun here in an opposition to Radamantis and T-squaring Chariklo and Varuna. That's another configuration I've been talking about many times in the last months, as these are all very slow-moving planets. Varuna, Radamantis are both Kuiper belt objects having orbital periods in the range of several hundred years. Chariklo, Chiron's wife, its signature is, or her signature is, she's a midwife, caring, and in Aquarius since pretty much the end of January for a few years, helping us to rebirth this paradigm, to give it, to bring it into reality, that Aquarian paradigm, which we are in, certainly in the initial pains of getting it set up and real. So Radamantis has been put in charge by the gods to judge the dead, very much about justice. So is Varuna, righteousness, doing things the correct way. Hygeia is here too, which is about health, well-being, and being at the right time, at the right moment. All these planets here kind of recharged, strongly brought in focus by the Sun and Earth, who were in that exact line on that day, the 23rd. Now that April 23rd, this is just the beginning here of what happened on that day, and there were a few more interesting shifts and changes happening. The first of which was Mars. You see Mars is here at the very, very tail end of Gemini, where it had been for the last 2-3 months, I guess. Mars in Gemini, that is a feisty energy of confronting, of opening the door to a conflict, to a conquest, a battle, to be in an active role of competition and of measuring each other's strength. Interesting that Mars is here at the very, very tail end, the kind of the planet of highest degree. In many ways, planet of highest degrees is the final, the one which has the final say. So one could say Mars about action, putting things, going along with its with willpower. And Mars, just a few hours later, changed into Cancer. That is the chart for Washington when Mars changed into the sign of Cancer. Interesting also the moon on that day. If we go back here one more step here quickly, you see here the moon on that moment when the moon was, when Jupiter was activating the American nation's moon, the transiting moon was at 11 degrees Virgo, conjunct Orcus. Orcus, another one I've been talking about many times in the last few months. Alchemy, changing the energy of something, going deep within and realizing that it's upon us, how we look at the world, how we allow the world to affect us, which challenges what is and actually is at the core of manifestation. If we hold the power high, then whatever is around us will have to change. That's kind of the principle of Orcus. Very, very powerful here, this blast placement. And there is this other big grand square which is highly activated by the moon and the lunar nodes. You see the moon was here exactly between the lunar north and south node. So this is the most powerful degree where Orcus isn't the lunar node. So this is in general due to the lunar nodal axis, which is about evolutionary direction. And Orcus is here right between the two. So Orcus is kind of the tongue of the scale right now, and the moon amplifies that. So in a nutshell, it says, yes, it's about us. If we are ready to look at things differently, if we are ready to not get triggered and be strong in ourselves and hold up our frequency, then the world will change. There's no other way. Nessus here at the other side, that is this powerful pair of planets, which I guess is one of the main themes, has been going on since 2016. It's one of these key alignments in the American chart. Just want to go back here quickly, showing you Orcus here at 9 degrees Virgo, 9 degrees Pisces. So a perfect exact opposition, T squared by Uranus and Pherois, 922. A little hard to see, that would be here. There's so much going on here in this area. Yeah, here this would be the mark for Pherois. Pherois, a mother bear's power, fierceness to protect her cubs, stand up for what's wrong. And as we go, I will show you Pherois is a very powerful player too in our present time, just about coming to a pinnacle as it turns to direct motion on April the 30th. But that's that I will save that for another one. So let's go back to this chart here where we just were, the April 23rd, that is 5:33 in the morning Washington time. Then, as I say, 2 hours later or so, Mars changes into Cancer. And again, I want to say these are kickoff points, if you want. These are initiation energies which start processes. It's planting a seed, and then whatever the quality is of that moment will evolve, develop over the coming days, weeks, months. That's why these nodal moments are so important, and they can give us the perspective of where things are going. It's kind of their allowing to fill in, to see the direction things are going. So on that same day, then another few hours later in the afternoon, Pallas and Nessus had an exact conjunction, another powerful alignment of that day. See the moon by now, 1550 Virgo. Pallas here, Pallas is the asteroid which rules art and science. It's a mental ability to see patterns, to understand concepts. Also, Pallas rules justice and is often depicted as the goddess with the blindfold and the scale, and the scales in one hand and the sword in the other hand. So it's blind justice, it's absolute justice, which is not swayed by looks and appearances, but by the very core of what is true and what is false. Nessus, pathological behavior in a nutshell. And I will get deeper into this chart hopefully in another short video, because this is a very critical subject of our present times. Understanding the shadow, I would call it. This is the essence of this chart, and this is now the chart for Greenwich for that moment. So this is a global chart. Greenwich again being at the 0 meridian, 000 west, which divides Earth into a western and eastern hemisphere, and 5129 north, that is exactly 1/7 of a circle away from the equator. 7, the number of the higher spheres of the celestial realms. So in many ways this place is holding a very, very special power, and can be seen as the fractal of how energies express globally. Another few, actually not even few hours, just less than an hour later, you see this is 4:30 p.m. 0 time GMT and 5:12 p.m. GMT p.m. That's when Salacia, where is she? Here, Salacia, and Makemake had another exact opposition. Now when I say another exact opposition, these again are two very slow moving Kuiper belt objects again, and I pulled up the ephemeris here. I want to quickly show you. So Salacia and Makemake make 35 oppositions over 17 years between 2016 and 2033. So this is a combination of energies which is expressing themselves over a long period of time. And what are the signatures of these two planets? Naturally, that's the next question. Salacia is about enjoyment, something we love, something we enjoy, something we thrive when we think of it, when we engage in it. Makemake is creating, tangible creation, manifesting in the real sense of the word, not just an idea, not just a great philosophical thought of a new dimension, but something which can become three-dimensional, real, So what this really means is the challenge to create a new world. And I guess it's not surprising that this started in 2016 in the first degree of Aries, nevertheless, Salacia, first degree of Libra, Makemake. And over the 17 years, these two planets move in sync, and the last exact opposition in this cycle, which can be many thousands of years, because they move so at almost the same speed. I guess Salacia something like 274 years once around the sun, Makemake something like 308 years. So it takes a long time for the faster one of the two to again catch up then to the slower one. So this is a particular signature of our present times, creating a new world, the joy of creating a new world. And I just want to go back here one more step. That was the Pallas-Nessus conjunction I just talked about. You see, globally has this Makemake Salacia opposition exactly in the ascendant. So this is the main theme here. Yes, understanding the shadow, realizing what darkness is about at its very core, that we are giving it the power to be what it is. That is basically the message here, together with that north node, south node square with Orcus, which I just mentioned before, which is actually dead on exact on that day. You see 21 11 21 11 21. So this is really this was a very powerful key day. And again, to zoom back quickly here, happening on this day here, the last day of that first half of the 260-day template. This is a very powerful moment in time. That's why I hoped to have that other video out at that day, but as I say, it didn't record. I'm really sorry for that. It was disappointing, but here we are. Hopefully you get the best part of what I had to share there. I was even able to add a few more things here. Okay, so let's keep going. SALACIA-MAKEMAKE. This is the global chart again, as I say, less than an hour after Pallas-Nessus had their conjunction. This was the 10th of 35 oppositions Salacia and Makemake are making. Now, this is geocentric. You see, that's the thing, because these all planets move at, let's put it that way, they always move forward if we would be looking from the sun. Always in an equal pace. However, now Earth is off center. Either we are on this side or on that side of the sun, and depending on that, when two planets are opposite the sun, then most particularly always when one moves forward, you see Salacia moves direct, close to where the sun is, and Makemake moves backwards. So they're kind of switching forth and back, seen from the sun. That is the reason they are for 17 years making exact oppositions from Earth's point of view. Now, if we look from the Sun's perspective, then we only will have one moment when they will be exactly on opposite ends, and this is naturally heliocentric astrology, and that's what I was calculating. I was curious what the center point looks like. This is now heliocentric astrology, and calculating it with the best available ephemeris I have, which is the one by John Donne. I quickly show you those who are curious amongst you. This is a researcher who has his own ephemeris calculation site here online. So this is truenode.com with a dash here in between, those of you who are interested in knowing where I get all these calculations. So this is the moment when these two Kuiper belt objects, Salacia and Makemake, will be exactly opposing each other. Again, the chart for Greenwich, the global chart. And if we now translate this moment, I mean, this chart is in itself powerful. I mean, there's many things I could talk about here, just even this one, the equatorial point on conjunct Uranus, which is the global, or the equatorial ascendant of that moment. So if we would stand on the equator on the 0 meridian, this would be the ascendant. Interesting. Uranus, think Aquarius, which is midheaven. Think new paradigm, think new age, think all the wonderful things we know about Aquarius. By 2025, Pluto is in Aquarius here at the 9th house cusp. Another powerful setting of opening the curtains to new dimensions. Great transformations have been completed by this 8th house transit here, so to say. Venus, 0 degrees Pisces. Neptune, 0 degrees Aries, another really big one, and I have written and spoken about that yes, 25, 26. That's a very, very powerful era of, I would guess, by then the adjustments which are still necessary in the next few years will come to kind of a conclusion, and by then we will hopefully have dealt with all the dark stuff and put everything in its right place, and then we will be able to start fully harnessing the great potentials of the coming era, the future, the golden age, what you want to call it. So if we now go and look at this moment, this central point of this SALACIA-MAKEMAKE opposition, the heliocentric opposition, how is that? That's Sun, Jupiter conjunction in Cancer. Beautiful, beautiful. Cancer, the sign of care, of growth, of also of honoring history, of having the memory of where we are coming from. The moon's sign of care, of emotional balance. Jupiter is very well placed in Cancer. The abundance in our own home environment. Local economies, very clearly, that's one of the indications here. again, there's many things we could talk about this chart alone. Pallas here in midheaven in Aquarius, together with Chariklo, which would be, yes, science and art will be very highly revered as our guiding lights. It's all about understanding patterns of this reality. So that is just a little preview in a way, and also showing you the main theme which is going on here with this Salacia-Makemake opposition, which is, as I say, active for 17 years. It's an organic, slow transition, a slow takeover of our joy for creation to create a new world. Okay, now let's zoom back to where we are. April 24th. That was just a day after the 1 Chuen, the first day of this present 13-day cycle we're in. Mercury heliocentrically entered Gemini. This is a fast pace Mercury has. It's only a 5-6 day period. I wanted to highlight that because this is where lots of new ideas, thoughts are thrown into the public area, and no surprise, that whole theme of the recount is now really mushrooming. It's getting out. People are realizing, okay, something is going on which might or most likely will have great consequences. And yes, this is just the start. Also in this present 6-day window we're in, I want to go back here one step to this chart here. That is when the sun on the 21st of April entered that hexagram 27, nourishment. This is the Washington chart again, and again, just thought that was highly interesting. Again, the Makemake Salacia opposition here, right in the ascendant, descendant. It's the main theme of these present 6 days, recreating reality. And this Astrea, Quavar and Pholus here, T-squaring Astrea particularly, rolling one's sleeves back and getting things done, dealing with difficulties with shadows, whatnot. Pholus, always nicely when Pholus shows up. Pholus is a centaur, which represents wisdom, the insight that radical shifts are necessary at some times. When Pholus shows up, that gives us that final kick to do something we long had planned for and haven't kind of done yet, procrastinated. Pholus is the one who kicks finally opens the door to something new. Very nice that this is so strongly focused here in that T-square here. So let's go back to Mercury here, and then this is the this is the heliocentric ingress of Mercury into Gemini for Greenwich. And when we look at that same moment in time from a geocentric perspective, from Washington's location, what you see is Pluto at the ascendant. Okay, so it's really a a window of time which shifts many things in a new direction. And again, this was kind of initiated by the planet Jupiter lining up with the American nation's moon. Nice synchronicity, beautiful. And as I say, I could have told you that there would be some big energetic changes coming soon, already a while ago when I looked ahead. I tried not to get too far into the future because it's so much happening all the time. And staying in the now is important. Yes, there's great shifts coming in the month of May. After all, this is month 12. Again, if we go by what the 9 said, and I want to just quickly show you this once more too. This is Magenta Pixie's YouTube channel. Okay, it takes a little while to load here. And so this is the one, I guess. Yeah, is this okay? No, it went to a different place. Okay, sorry, I just wanted to show you this quickly, but it doesn't want to stay in its place. That's on. Okay, come on. Too many windows open here. So that's Magenta Pixies. Right, come on. Okay. No, I don't want to play it. I want just to show you. Okay, here we go. That's her YouTube channel, Magenta Pixie. You can find her. And the one I'm particularly recommending, if you haven't listened to it yet, is this one here, which was published, as I say, in May 2020, beginning of May. This is the one here, the event 2020, where they give that projection over the coming 13 months. They say by the end of May 2021, things should be in a much better place. That's the 13 months of fully defeating the cabal, of taking the power away from them, of bringing the world to a better place. Sure, the battle won't be over by the end of May, that much is clear, but by then it will be just a cleanup operation of tying loose ends, which again, as I said, will probably take a few years. Bring everybody to justice who needs to be removed. Putting the new money system in place. Slowly entering a new economy, new technologies. It will be a smooth transition. Nothing will come at which could offset, which could uproot our world. It will be rolled out in a very wonderfully smooth way. So anyway, I just wanted to show you, this is kind of where I have this 13-month template from, and it sure makes total sense. It totally fits in with astrology. Actually, the 9, which is a disembodied collective of higher dimensional beings. They call themselves the white-winged collective consciousness of 9. So month 12 we are in, April 2021. The 12th, as I showed in my last video, is the Hanged Man coming to terms with this, what's out of tune, really opening the eyes of the public in a new big way, without really being able to change anything yet. It's first to just let it sink in, meditate, sit with it, be with it. That's what's happening now. And then month 13, which will be May, naturally, tarot card number 13 is death, transformation, change, the phoenix rising out of the ashes. That's what the number 13 stands for. That's why it's been so what you would call that, named a bad number or whatever, because people are afraid of change. But the 13 is a powerful number. Those of you who know, I mean, everything has been turned upside down, as we know. Inverted powerful symbols have been presented as something bad because they hold so much power. They want people to stay away from these powerful symbols so they can own them. Anyway, that's another story. But yes, we are getting into a very dynamic period in time. This is definitely shown here by this Pluto at the rising sign. So this is just again for a few short days into the 28th, 29th of April. And then let me see what else I have here for you. Tomorrow's full moon, right? Interesting, the 21st degree of Gemini here at the descendant, which is the American nation's Mars. And this is the Washington chart of that full moon tomorrow. The full moon in Scorpio, by the way. And Uranus is here pretty prominently accentuated. Actually, it takes a few more days then to the 29th, 30th till Uranus and the Sun are exactly conjunct. But nevertheless, Mars and Saturn is here in the American chart. Just quickly zooming back here to show you what I'm referring to. Mars 21 degrees Gemini, Saturn here 14 degrees Libra. Come on. Okay, I must have pressed the wrong tab. Okay, sorry for that. Takes a little while. Yep, here we go. Cancel. That's what I want to go back to. Right, see, 21:12. So Mars and Saturn, when they come into play, this is always kind of a rectifying energy, bring things back to balance. It's the general's energy when Mars and Saturn are together. Law and order is taken care of. And then when the Sun and Uranus are conjunct on April the 30th, again for Washington here, the 21st degree of Gemini in midheaven. Again, this is Mars, so it's a very Martian time. And Mars, by the way, in Cancer now. Okay, I didn't say anything about that yet. Yes, Mars entered Cancer on the 23rd of April as well, and will be in here till mid-June. Mars in Cancer, okay, that's taking care of the community. It's focusing one's energy to support each other, to support the family. Mars is, it's not Mars' favorite sign, most favorite sign, but Mars is doing a lot of good work there. It's kind of daddy staying home and caring for the kids and caring for the animals. It's not really what daddy most likely likes to do. Daddy more would enjoy more, I guess, to just go out into the world and conquer. So that is the focus right now. It's inward bound and caring for the small things and tying up loose ends, feeding the baby, giving the care and energy to those who need it, to the weak. And Mars will, well, that's another story. Let's keep it at that. Last and not least, I just want to say also on the 30th of April, Pherois will turn back to forward motion. Pherois again, that centaur, which is about the fierceness of a mother bear protecting her cubs. Yes, more on that coming soon. This is a big story in itself. Turning direct after months of going backwards during a Sun-Uranus conjunction. This in itself is interesting. Okay, thank you for joining and listening. I hope you have come to the end of this without getting bored or overwhelmed by all the information. Otherwise, just rewind or take it in small sections. I love you all, and it's exciting times, and help to keep the frequency high. That's what matters in these days. Transform the shadows, and the shadows are first and foremost within ourselves, within how we allow them to affect us. Have a great day. Okay, talk to you soon.